What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today, we're going to be kind of going over not necessarily hot takes, but can a show be ruined by a bad dub?
Yes.
And we're going to jump, yes, it can,
Yes.
but what makes it so bad? And, what to you has been. I mean, I feel like this was kind of a two-part episode. We wanted to talk about can dubs make a show bad? And just overhyped shows that were supposed to come out and just weren't as hyped to you as they were,
It fell
as
on
it
the
was cracked up to
it
be.
fell on their face.
Yeah, it just kind of fell on their face. So I don't know which one you want to start with. I've got a few selections on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, my
Um,
my first one covers both
which
areas.
I'm still just you asked me if I was mad at you. A little bit of me was, but I understand you and I we like a majority of the same things, but there are times where our disconnect is so wildly unsuspected that I have to do
I
a double back of just are you sure about that?
we'll have a conversation.
Because
We'll have a
yeah,
conversation later because I want to dive deeper into that. But the the reason why this was brought up to begin with was because my wife and I have been watching Ocean Co. Because we had watched the first episode when it came out, like on release, and we loved it. Basically a movie to start off the first season. And it was fantastic. So I just neglected to watch it for the rest of the time. My wife has started reading some of it, and time passed. More anime came out, and we
and I
decided,
keep hyping it up, hyping it up, hyping
yeah,
it up,
yeah, yeah.
saying, "Man, this show is
And
great."
and honestly, it wasn't even your comments about it. Truthfully, we'd been watching through Black Clover. We'd been watching through a couple other anime. She got caught up on 100 Girlfriends, so
I'm still very far behind. I've
we
watched the first episode this season.
we got caught up very fast. So then we were like, well, what next? And my wife was like, oh, we should watch Ocean Co because we haven't. And I was like, you know what? That sounds
It'll make
good.
Frank happy.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, that sounds good just because like season 3 just got announced recently. Like it's gonna be in 2026, I think.
Hell
I
yeah,
think
brother.
the beginning of 2026, I want to say. So I'm like, I gotta watch this soon, otherwise it's gonna be like to the point where I'll just end up watching it once it's all out, and then everything's probably gonna get spoiled for me. So I'm like, that sounds good. Let's watch it. Watch season 1, and I don't know if I was just expecting more or if I just missed the point, just didn't catch everything. But my God, was bored out of my mind. I looked at my wife too. I was like, legit, if I was watching this by myself or even reading it for that matter, because it's not even just the anime. Like this goes to the source material. I'm like, I would have stopped reading after like 20 chapters, and I probably would have just stopped watching after like 4 episodes, I think. Like, I was floored by
We're gonna get
how.
into let's get
Well,
into spoilers. Let's get into spoilers for season 1, not necessarily season 2
but
because
I
I don't
don't.
think you've gotten there. But let's get into spoilers of season 1 and just talk about what specifically was
Well,
not great about it or what
s-
was boring to you. Because to me, I understand that from a perspective, but I also thoroughly enjoyed season 1. Not as much as season 2, but season 1, in my opinion, is still a good show.
the my biggest gripe with season 1 is that the movie sets up like this interconnected web of mysteries and lies and like all this like deep backstory about this character who suddenly at a very young age dies, right, and leaves behind 2 children who are reincarnated as well. So you got so many moving parts, right? All these wonderful pieces that they've like put out there to be like, here's what you can expect from the anime. And you're like, my God. Granted, the first episode realistically is like 4 to 5 episodes if you break it out.
3,
No, because
3 or
it's an hour
4,
and a
yeah.
half.
Hour 20, yeah.
And the episodes of anime are 24 minutes, not including the opening and ending. So basically, we'll just say 20 minutes. That's 4 episodes. You've compacted a third of a season into one episode, right? And it was great. Like I'm not faulting it for that. That was wonderful. Like what a great way to get started into a season, not only by making sure that you're taking the time to set everything out meticulously, but also being different in like we acknowledge that this first part is so impactful and so meaningful to the anime, to the story as a whole, that it needs a dedicated singular episode, right? So you had all these great elements to start. Then I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. Can't wait. Right? Start watching the rest of season 1, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Learn a little more Aqua, about Ruby, all their little friends. They do some cool projects. And then season 1's done. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What happened? Did I miss it? Was I asleep? I'm sorry, huh? That was my legit reaction after the season ended. And I'm like, there's no way that like this could be it, right? And then we've started watching the first half of season 2. We're a couple episodes in, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just continuing. This staleness, this unregistered amount of boredom I'm feeling that shouldn't be coming from this show. And I'm like, why? What's causing this? And then I realized, oh, it's because season 1 is 40 chapters of the manga. And I'm like, holy fuck, 40 chapters. And you had, truthfully, 15 episodes because it's an 11 episode season. But we've already established that episode 1 is like 4 combined. So you have basically 15 episodes of anime in 40 chapters of the manga. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I will say that it is a very much slower paced show than people were expecting after episode
It's
1.
not just slow. It's not just slow.
I think it's intriguing because you get the behind the scenes, like a kind of a not necessarily unfiltered, but for the lack of a better term, you get an unfiltered look at what the industry in Japan looks like. And to me, that's interesting. But I enjoy that.
An immediate counterpoint, because I'm like, I know he's gonna bring up this shit because they spend so much time every single episode. Why should I care? Why do I care? What's the point? Seriously, what's the point? Why do I give a fuck about what goes into script writing for a manga series to translate it into a 2.5D play, right? What do I gain from knowing the intricacies of how a realistic dating show is shot and what goes into the acting and if it's like staged or not? Why do I care? Why the fuck do I like? I understand it from the mindset of like, there's certain character relationships they're creating, right? And you're setting up like also some maybe hints at other schemes happening in the background with some other characters that are not as meaningful but could play a role. I understand that. But I don't need 7 to 10 episodes. It felt like every episode, 7 to 10 minutes, every episode, going into this deep layer of explanation on just here's the underground idol scene. Why do I care? Make me care. You never established why I should care. And then they're like, oh, my mom died, by the way, and we found like one clue as to what could be connected. And I'm like, there you go, here's some finally back on track. And then, oh wait, no, sorry, we're just gonna spend the next 5 episodes doing fuck all. Like,
I swear, if you do stick with this,
oh no, I'm going
are going, like, I mean the entirety of the series, because I've read the entirety of the thing.
I'm going to, because at
if
this
and
point,
when you do stick with this, you are going to love hate this fucking ending. You are going to hate it by 100%. You're going to love one portion of it. You're going to hate the rest. You're going to hate the absolute shit out of the rest of it. But to your point of like, why should I care? Why should I care? It's like, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. You have these two characters that went through a traumatic event, and then you're following their story of trying to figure out, Aqua's trying to find the person who murdered his mom, or the person who sent the murderer. And then Ruby is kind of not necessarily an ignorance bliss type situation, but he's also trying to balance keeping her away from that and keeping her away from finding out what he's up to and just making sure that she lives a happy life and that she becomes, fulfills her dreams and what she wants to do because
Yeah,
he knows who she is. He knows the reincarnated version of who she is. So it's
man.
just one of those things of just like, okay, I care about these characters. Why are these characters doing the things they're doing? They're doing it because they're trying to get more information. And it goes back to the industry. You do this for me, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And I
It's
get it. To you, it's just a roundabout, lazy way because it's so long and drawn out. I get it. Why should you care? That's why. They're just going into detail about the industry and different parts of it and how everything mingles. That's it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's fine. I think it's quite interesting. I like that background look. I like seeing how a power hungry author who is young and doesn't know better fucking burns bridges left and right and then just decides I'm going to take on the whole world only to get humbled by her mentor. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought it was great. I thought it was a good side story. And yes, they are side characters that do come back. Like it all interconnects, it
it's
all weaves. It's to me, it's interesting. I know to you it isn't interesting.
it's what no, that's never I never said it was not interesting.
You said it was boring, aka not interesting.
I said the show is boring. I said the story itself is boring because everything you just said goes exactly to my point. You summed up what effectively was episode 2 saying, here's what Ruby's doing, here's what Aqua's doing, this is the go forward. That is exactly what happened in episode 2, and then nothing the fuck happened the rest of the season. Nothing.
They've eliminated they eliminated
Aqua. They eliminated one person. Aqua, and that was it was impactful for the one split scene that it was there. And then other than that, nothing else happened. Aqua had 2 different projects he was in. Ruby created her idol group. That was fucking it. There was nothing else that happened. Nothing at all. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, okay, because I know you want to talk more about Oshinoko. I don't give a fuck. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because this is an overhyped show that I find to be quite abysmal so far. But the other factor that's playing into it is that we are watching it dubbed. My wife prefers dubbed because it's a lot easier to follow in terms of not having to constantly be reading subtitles for subtitled anime. And I'm like, this is fine. Oh my God.
This one I will not be able to comment on. I will not be able to comment on this because I've not watched any of it.
Oh my God. It is atrocious. The voice acting is atrocious. I about wanted to slam my head into our coffee table anytime there were only conversations between Ruby and Kana, because holy fuck, I'm and this is not a dig at the voice actors. I am sorry. I know you were not given good direction for your characters. I can easily tell because I've already commented to my wife, season 2, Kana's voice acting is undoubtedly improved, like significantly improved by miles. So it certainly was just at the very beginning not having good direction on how she should be portraying this character through her voice acting. But oh my God, it's awful. There were scenes where I looked at my wife and I was like, I wished we could just change this to Japanese because I'm like, there's no way in hell it could be any worse than this. And then it's a high dive. Like, what is with high dive? This is a side tangent slightly. What is with high dive and English dubbing? Their English dubbing is bad.
I won't say that all of it is bad. Not all of it is bad. Because I've watched other shows that I thought were like, okay, the English dub for this is great. Or not even great, but it is good / passable. Dangers in My Heart dub, fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Were there some awkward characters? Sure. But mostly great. Dark Gathering, English dub, pretty darn good as well. As much as I'm not a huge fan of the show, Eminence and Shadow, also a good dub. I honestly will say, High Dive has more hits than it does misses when it comes to dub. It just sucks that 2 of the biggest shows on High Dive that they arguably have, Oshinoko and Call of the Night, their dubs are atrocious.
I mean, I wouldn't say the 2 biggest because at this point, Dangers in My Heart is like probably
it's up
now.
there, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Call of the Night. It's all the anime that they get where they like source the voice acting and they're the ones hosting it,
But it's
right?
like even like well, I haven't actually watched your boy Kongming in dub, so I can't actually comment on that. But like
Yeah.
even Akiba Maid War was great dubbed. Like that one was fucking
But
hilarious. They let those just voice actresses just have a fucking ball.
well, and again, like I know, so I know for certain the Call of the Night one was like this is high dive, like sourced voice acting. Like they have like a tag in it, I think, for like the English dub. So I can't speak to the other ones. I'm assuming Oshinoko is the same because I think they have that same tag. But like
I think
I don't
all of
know.
them do. All of them, I'm pretty sure
Which
almost every single show does. It's just like it does the weird whisper in your ear, like the hi
stop.
or whatever
I don't.
bullshit. Like you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I yeah. I just it's
It's
and maybe
frustrating.
well it's frustrating, but it's also like because I know people be like, well, you probably just don't like the voice acting because you don't like the show. That's not true. Because honestly, I wouldn't like the show even if I watched it in Japanese, like like as subtitled. Like it would be the same. It's just it was shocking to me how like disassociated I wanted to be with it when I was watching it in English because I just found the voice acting to be so poor. Like to the
Yeah.
point where I wanted to distract myself because I'm like, I'd rather just like listen than watch and listen because I'm finding it to be aggravating doing both. I'm like, I either have to watch it and close my ears and go la 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 and then just read the subtitles in English or just do something else elsewhere and listen to it because it got to be just infuriating at times.
Yeah, I understand that. And I have another example of just really bad voice acting that ruined a perfectly phenomenal show. And I've talked about this on the channel before. Summertime Rendering.
Yeah.
It was that show that got stuck in fucking Disney jail for almost a year. And then one day it just appeared on Hulu, both in subbed and dubbed. And because I wanted to watch it immediately, I watched it while working and listened while working and I listened to the dub. And the dub is there are some characters that are great, they are fine, they have a good voice. There are other characters that are abysmally bad. Like it seems like this was just they picked up Joe Schmo off the street and was like, "Hey, here are the lines, read them." And they read them and it was awful.
Oh,
And that
yep.
sucks because, like, Summertime Rendering or Summertime Render, whatever you wanna call it, it's one of my favorite, like, manga series that I've read, like,
Mhm.
from start to finish. So I have 0 notes as to, like, improvement on it. It is a very good series, and because it's a whodunit murder mystery, essentially, that turns into more, and I loved it, but then when the show finally came out, that dub fucking nearly ruined it for me, and I do need to go back and actually watch it subtitled to, like, get that image or just, like, the fucking voice of the goddamn town cop out of my head because he lives there rent free, and he is just it was not good. There were
Yeah.
times where he actually, like, shone and had a couple of good lines. I'm like, "Wow, you nailed it." But a majority of it, I was just like, "Fucking stick a spoon in my ear and just carve out my eardrums, please."
And I and
Like,
it
and I'm very sorry, voice actor who did that, like, I really am. I'm not trying to just diss on you, but boy, oh boy, that was not a good role for you, bud.
and again, like the great part about watching or having multiple languages to watch it in that also come with subtitles is that if the English voice acting is bad,
Yep.
if it's so bad, if you are a diehard sub or diehard dub fan, right? Personally, I've
Mhm.
never found a subtitle that I haven't liked because I always find it to be a one for one in terms of like how they match the voice actors to the characters. Like they pair them up really well, right? And you have to imagine that's mainly due to the fact that it's all originating in Japan too. When it comes over translated differently at times too, and so it's like you have that to battle with. You also have this like preconceived idea of like who the character should be based on the Japanese voice acting, and so that plays a factor in it too. So you could be swayed as a viewer as well. But regardless, you have the opportunity to watch it dubbed or subbed based on your preference. And if you hate one, you can always just switch to the other.
Yeah.
But Oshinoko is an example of one, in my opinion, that watching it subbed or dubbed, I'd probably hate it because
So
it's just not
is
good.
there yeah, is there a show in your opinion, well, other than Oshinoko, is there another show out there that you're like, "Wow, this show is bad. Let me see if I can like maybe listen to the English dub of it so that way maybe I can get something out of it, whether it's like, okay, I at least listened to it and like the dub was good and like I plowed through the story just to say I watched it, or have you just instantly dropped it? Like, do you, or sorry, do you know one that is just both bad and has a bad dub?
I, not one that comes to mind because I find that to be hard. I mean,
Because I
truthfully,
have one.
I mean,
I
truth,
have one.
truthfully, it may be just a recency bias thing, but like Sakamoto Days is pretty underwhelming, and the English voice acting is not great. And trust me, I love most of the English voice actors. I know Matt Mercer plays Sakamoto. Granted, he doesn't say much because he's playing Sakamoto, right? But like the English voice actors that are on the cast are good. I don't know what it is with like line delivery or just character profiling for like how they want to like encapsulate the characters through their voice acting, but there's there are things that are amiss,
Yeah.
and it's seriously deteriorates the anime. Not to mention though, the anime itself is just downright abysmal
How
for an
far
action.
did you watch any
I've
more of that
I've got a
show or
couple.
no?
I think I've gotten 2 to 3 episodes in, but it's
So
hard, man.
I'm in 5.5 episodes in, and I think I found my biggest issue with it. I think that the animation is fine. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just somewhere in the middle of fine. It has its moments of brilliance, and then it immediately goes into a slideshow, just like, well, that's unfortunate. But I think for me, it's the audio choices, not necessarily the voice acting, the delivery of the lines. The further I got in, and I've been watching this entirely dubbed, it sounds like they just all the different English voice actors and actresses all did their voice lines in different locations at different times, not necessarily different times, but just different locations because it legitimately sounds like some of these people are recording in a closet. It just like there's some that just sound tinny, there's some that just sound off, like there's just no consistency throughout the first 5 episodes of like, hey, these were all recorded in the same spot using the same equipment, etc. It just all sounds so weirdly different that it just like throwing it together into one really is just off-putting,
Yeah.
which sucks. And I think that some of the audio design choices of like hitting like different equipment, like using different things as weapons and like hitting into different objects, like those sound choices were weird as well. Just everything about the show's audio has just made it sound so fucking weird that accompanying it with just kind of a fine animation has just really, it has been a very disappointing series, and that was on my list. But yeah, Sakamoto Days, like, I'm enjoying it because, like, I enjoy the series, I enjoy reading it week in, week out, but, like, it's not good.
Well,
It's fine. It's
and that's something
yeah.
to mention too, like because we said this when episode 1 aired, and we had our like too early review of the current season, right? And we both mentioned like, man, Sakamoto Days was extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
Sakamoto Days, though, along with a number of other series, are ones where they're in like this unique bucket in which the manga, the source material, is actually like really good, but there was something that didn't cross over into the anime. Whether it was keeping the identity of the manga, whether it was just adapting it into a style that was befitting the source material as well, any number of factors, right? Something went awry,
Yep.
but the source material still remains good. Like it's still a fun
Oh, yeah.
read. It's still like,
I read it every Sunday.
yeah, exactly. There are though ones where you watch the anime and you go, no matter what you would do to this anime, whether you made it the most beautiful or had like the most superb voice acting, nothing could fix the atrocity that is the source material. There are
Yeah.
those, right?
Yeah.
And again, and like I keep going back to it because it's like just the easiest one for me currently. It's like Ocean so far falls into that book where it's like I don't think reading the manga would do anything more to my opinion that the anime hasn't already like established, right? Like this is just not good. Like if I were to, because what most people say is like, well, just go back and read it, right? Like it's much better if you read it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I would say, you know what, sure, for whatever reason, I'll do that. Ocean is one where I'm confident. I'm like, no, because the faults I have in it are with the source material. So it's like it's kind of checking all those boxes of like I'm not finding it entertaining, the dub sucks, and I don't think I would even enjoy the manga because at its core, everything I have a problem with stems from the source material. So that's
We're
like
gonna have to open that other beer soon if we're gonna continue talking about
no,
Oshinoko that way.
I'm done with Oshinoko. I'm done with Oshinoko. But
Just I'm gonna take it over from here
well,
because
that's
like
fine.
there are things like I had alluded to. I was like, have you watched something that was just a bad show and bad voice acting? And to my argument, yes, I've watched 3 episodes of one show that was just I dropped it after 3. I was like, I cannot take the voice acting, and the show is god awful. And this is a recent show too. I'm talking within a year that it was this bad, and that is Buchigiri,
Oh,
Mappa's original show.
yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes or subtitled, thinking like, "Oh, I'll watch it week to week. This is gonna be great. It's an original. It's a battle, show made by Mappa. It's gonna be beautiful." It was beautiful. That's all it had going for it. I could not stand that show after 2 episodes, and I was like, "You know what? It's all out dubbed." Like, I think I got maybe 4 months after it was fully released. I was like, "You know what? I don't know what else to watch. I'm gonna watch the dub of this just to continue it because I had dropped it. Let's see if it gets any better."
Mm-hmm.
And no, it doesn't. And on top of that, I started at episode 3 for the dub. Like, I know what happens in the first 2 episodes. It's
Yeah.
fine. The dubbing of that show was horrendous. It like people's voices did not match the characters they were, embodying, vice versa. Like just like the line deliveries were just awful, and nothing in episode 3 redeemed the story or the characters that just nothing about it was redeemable in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Like it was just purely and utterly bad. It was just so bad. The only thing it had going for it, really, I guess, even though I just said it had nothing going for it, was the anime. It was pretty. It was very pretty, but that was it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't amount to much in my book.
No.
So,
I think
but
you're in a unique position though, as we've established for quite some time now, that you tend to just willingly watch hot garbage to, I don't know, fill a void you have in your life. I'm not sure what it is. I usually try to stay clear of it and only select anime that I truly feel like I'm going to enjoy. Again, there are the occasions where I'll watch something and I'm like, wow, this definitely didn't live up to my expectations. Oh well, time to drop. But you're just like, I'm not gonna sort through this shit. Just put it in a dump truck and pile it on me, and I'll make my
yeah,
way out eventually.
give it to me all at
Yeah,
once. Let me
yeah. I'm
have
not
it.
gonna be selective in my choice. I'm just gonna eat through it all, and then whatever I don't like, I'll just go a different direction.
I will say, in actually, in regards to that, there was so you and I have been discussing throughout this current anime season that bureaucrat de villainess, my dad's been reincarnated, has been
Yes,
one of the standout shows of the season, which I am
yes.
100% in agreement with you. When episode 4 happened and the plot twist happened in that episode, as if I wasn't already in, like I was in, but like now I'm whole hog. I'm there every Thursday when the episode comes out,
Yeah.
or Friday or whenever it is. Like after work, that's what I'm watching. But to branch out, like I was like, you know what, the villainess genre is just something that I haven't dug into deep enough to actually have a good, valid opinion on. I'm gonna watch through a bunch of villainess shows. And so I watched a handful. I think I watched I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History, which was a recent show. I think it came out fall. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
fall
it sounds
2024.
familiar.
Yeah, it just happened, and I have seen like one or two other villainess shows in the past, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take on the villainess show that everybody like. I feel like agrees that this is the peak of the genre right now. Granted, I've heard that there's a bunch that hasn't been released that are still in only book form, but I'm gonna watch what is considered like the best of the best in the genre, and that is My Next Life as a Villainess. All routes
Roads
lead
lead.
to Doom.
Yep.
It was a very hyped series for me. I was excited because I was like, this is the best of the best that this genre has. What are we gonna get into? And for all intents and purposes, season one was fine. I think that the premise of the show, just like, okay, I'm in this villainess role. People used like when I was a child, people hated me, and now I'm the child that people hate.
Mhm.
I'm gonna dig my way out of this hole, and then everybody ends up falling in love with me. But still, I'm gonna avoid all the doom flags that are set out in front of me, so that way I don't die from one of the various endings of this video game. They have 2 seasons of the show, and by the end of season 1, they finish the video game. So
Oh.
what the fuck do you do with season 2? Well, let's just have fucking side stories and try to add depth to these characters. No. They're all fucking like carbon copy, fucking same thing for each one, they just have a different quirk.
Mhm.
I'm the prince. Oh, I'm just a fucking beautiful boy who doesn't talk to anybody. Oh, I'm the prince's second brother, but like I have good qualities too. That's all. It's just like I have a different quality, but I am the same person as all of these other schmucks in this fucking series.
Mhm.
Season 2 was so fucking bad that I struggled mightily just finishing it. I gave it a score after, like, halfway through the last episode of season 2, and it was like, "Do you wanna watch the OVA?" I was like, "Fuck no, I don't.
Hell no.
I'm skipping the shit out of that." It sucks that this was a genre that I knew a little bit about, but not enough to know, like, to form an opinion. I've watched a handful of shows now. I'm staying away forever from this genre unless somebody is like, "This is the best of the best. This is phenomenal." Because God, fucking My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom was hyped up so much for me. It was like, "This is great. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be a fun time." And it just season 1 had its moments, but, like, again, every fucking character was the same. They all fell in love with this person, and that's their whole personality with a side trait. Like, that's what it was, and it really was irksome. But, I think if we're gonna really just, like, final thoughts here, and this is a very hot opinion in my book
Uh-oh.
of just shows that were really hyped up and like really really hyped that people absolutely love undoubtedly, they put it on their recommendation what should I watch next list. This is what I'm going to watch next, and I just fucking hated so goddamn much. And it wasn't even because the voice acting was bad. The voice acting wasn't too terrible, but it was Parasite the Maxim. I watched Parasite the Maxim last year, and I thought it was awful.
Ah.
I thought it was real fucking bad. And I know that this is a beloved series by a lot of people out there,
Mhm.
but in my opinion, I could not stand it. It was another like, I know I'm probably, like, just fucking 10 years too late on this because this did come out in 2014. Started in 2014, ended in 2015, which is surprising. I thought it came out earlier than that. But holy shit, like, my tolerance for internal monologue shows has just reached its limit, and this is internal monologue, the show with some action. Like, how when we did the review for the Fate Stay Zero or Fate Stay Night, whatever
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Fate Zero, and we were like, "Man, this show was just a bunch of politics," and then when it was a fight scene, it lasted 2 fucking minutes. this is the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It literally is just like, I'm gonna internal monologue. How do I beat this guy? I don't know. How do I beat this guy? Oh, there's another guy over there. This it frustrated me to no end that this is the show that everybody is like, it's phenomenal. It's great. Oh my god. It doesn't get better than this. Cause like I'm looking at this on Mal right now. Popularity, meaning like how many people have watched and voted on this
Mhm.
show. 42. It is number 42 on Mal. And
Damn.
it is ranked, it has a score of 8.32. It is ranked 256 overall on Mal. And to me, this show is doggy doo doo.
But
I like everybody because like everybody and their mother was just like, you need to watch this show. The show is great. It's great for a reason.
yeah.
I could not find one fucking reason for this show to be great. It was awful. And
I
I'm sorry if that offends you, but just like the plot is just, hey, let's get rid of this fucking alien. Let them get out of my body and he can just exist, or we can just, kill all the aliens. And slowly but surely they all start coming to him and he has to defend himself, and it's just like the plot is so bland, it's fine. Like there's nothing bad about it, there's nothing good about it. It just it yeah, it was very irksome for me because like this is one of those shows that was really hyped up,
I
and it just it did not meet any of my expectations.
the
Go
one
ahead.
for me, because again, Oshinoko aside,
Mhm.
the one for me that I feel like I heard from multiple people, like some that were watching anime pretty frequently, and then some that like I guess stumbled upon it because it was a Netflix release, right? And just watched it and they were like, "Whoa, like this is so cool and edgy and unique." Uh and I watched it cuz I was like, "All right, people need to stop talking about this. I'll finally watch it. See what all the hype's about." I I hated it to no end. Like I wanted it. I wanted nothing more to erase the amount of time I had spent watching it, and that was Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
you and I have talked about this before.
I I am interested now that you bring up Parasite the Maxim, where Devilman Crybaby is on Mal in
Oh no,
terms of
I'd
like
I'd much rather watch Devilman Crybaby than the
no no no
fucking Max.
no 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 no
No,
I
I
mean
know,
in
I know,
terms
I
of
know.
like
Where it is, yes, I'll get to there. But like
yeah
if I'm going to be completely honest, because I've watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of Devilman Crybaby, I'd rather watch
yeah
that
but
show again over fucking Parasite.
have you watched through all of Devilman Crybaby?
No, I've
Yeah, so that's the
watched the
issue.
first like 2 episodes.
That's the issue.
Okay.
Uh
So Devilman Crybaby popularity is 123.
all right, thank God.
Uh so it's 123, which is still really high.
No, I know. It's still high. It's much higher than I would
But
really like it to be.
but the score is a 7.74, which leaves it at ranked 1,178.
All right, thank Christ. Cuz man, like
Which is which is
nothing screams more I feel so full of myself that I'm like thinking in the fifth dimension when it comes to my anime than this fucking series. I was like I couldn't tell if the grab was the like gore and violence. I couldn't tell if it was truly the story that they were telling. I couldn't tell if it was just the animation style because it was very unique, right? Like I didn't know what realistically people were saying made this show so good because I found it all to be just bad. The only cool part is that they have like Japanese rap in it, like 3 episodes. Like there's just this group of kids that like just rap and they'll sometimes get shown in different scenes. There's
you
like
know what? I don't is it going to be better than the Zombieland saga scene,
I
because I don't think anything that.
no, I don't think it will either. But just yeah, that one and the voice acting, I honestly can't even remember it. It just it gave this air of like wanting to be a noir, not noir, excuse me, like a French, what are they like black and white? What are those types of films called? Avant-garde. There we go. It was
Okay.
very like, again, it was very pompous. It just came across as like you're too dumb to really grasp the meaning behind this anime. And even at the very end, we're not going to tell you how you should feel. You should just know how to feel. And if you don't know, you're just a fucking idiot. And I'm just like, cool, I'm fine being dumb because your show sucked ass. Like, I don't know. I remember too, one of my friends because I watched it when I was in law school. One of the friends that had watched it and recommended it. They were like, so did you finally finish it? And I was like, yeah, I hated it. And they're like, what? I didn't even sugarcoat it too. I wasn't like, oh, it was okay. It was fine. I was just like, no, I did not like it. It was like, I thought it was bad. Bad.
Yeah. And I know we can continue this conversation on because there are plenty of fucking shonen shows out there that we're just like, yeah, this was hyped. This is a lot of people love it. And I'm just like, man, fucking Naruto, baby Naruto is awful. And I stand by that statement. Like, we're not going to get into that. Like, we're not going to get into the fact like Black Clover. We're not going to talk about that. Dude, I swear to God, I have fucking PTSD from that shit.
Believe it.
I did not grow up with the show. My sister forced me finally to watch it, and I watched all of Baby Naruto, and I got through maybe the first 20 episodes of Naruto Shippuden. I fucking can't. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I'm sorry. I know that it's a great show. I know a lot of people love it. Good. You enjoy it. I won't. But like, we're not. God, I know. I just said we're not going to shit on shonen, but it's just like I feel like shonen is the easiest target in this category. So let's stay away. Is there any final like thoughts of just bad dubbing for like that it, like made a show just unwatchable, or there was just another hyped show that just unfortunately was bad?
My preference is always to watch subtitled. I will say my greatest fear is always watching something that is so well like acted in terms of like just not even like who they choose to be the voice actors for the subtitled version, but like just the performances that I'm like, oh God, is it going to be as good when it comes over to English? Like, can they deliver on that level of performance? Because it's always my fear. Because I'll give you some examples of like where I'm coming from. Orb is currently my most favorite anime that I'm watching right now. I dread the day that they announce the dub because I feel like it's going to be so hard to give this anime to the voice actors to go, okay, treat this like a drama, like a pure drama, like you are real life acting in a drama, because that's what this anime is. It's not a kid's anime. It's not even like something that's serious but still has comedy to it. There's no comedy. This is pure drama. And I am so fearful of the day where they say, hello, this is the dubbed version. And for people to watch it and go, what is this utter trash? Because that's the day my heart will break.
I just had a really funny thought, and you're gonna hate me for it.
Oh no.
I hope that this is my dream for this dub, for the Orb dub. It is a historical piece.
Yes.
And I know that this is probably wrong historical time periods. However,
oh no.
I want somebody at Netflix to go and just hire all of the fucking Shakespearean actors that like do the Shakespeare like in the garden or Shakespeare in the park.
Thespian actors?
Yes, thespian actors, and just have them do this show and just dub it. That would be a dream come true. I would buy all the Blu-rays. I would buy every piece of merch for this show if they went out and just all thespian actors. I would love that so much. It would bring me such joy. Because if they don't do it here, where else can they do?
I don't. Isn't there a manga about Shakespeare?
I don't know. Probably. There's one that have you started reading the new Shonen Jump series about fucking Mozart coming back to life?
Oh, I saw that. Oh God.
Yeah, it's weird. It's fine, but it's weird. It's gonna get canceled real fucking quick, but it's fun for now.
but like, I mean, continuing on with that too, there are a lot of anime that still don't have dubs that have been out for quite some time. That again, I have that same
We
fear.
had that conversation
Yeah,
too.
I think we share the same sentiment that if and when Bocchi the Rock finally gets an English dub, if people who have been waiting, aka my wife, to watch it once it finally gets a dub, if it does not live up to the hype that we've delivered because the voice acting is subpar, I will feel like a fool. I would be like,
Yeah.
no, please promise me. I swear to God, it is good. You just have to watch it subbed. And then she'd be like, why? It's the same story. And I'd be like, wait, but no, you don't understand. And then the divorce, and then I'm homeless, and then
You can
I'm
come live
trying,
with
I'm
me,
shaking,
BB.
I'm yelling people at the street. Devilman Crybaby isn't good.
You can come live with me, BB.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think like this is such a random one. There's a series that I have not read, which I've been wanting to read, but I'm like, no, surely one day it'll get a dub. And I'm just too lazy to watch the subtitle. But there's a show called Nesakoi that I've always wanted to watch
Oh
and
yeah.
I've always wanted to read, does not have a dub. And I'm
Yep.
like, I feel like this would be a great dub, just
Well,
haven't gotten to it.
there's tons of
And
them.
like they don't have they don't have it, and it's just one of those shows that I'm just like, one day. I'm holding out hope one day they'll dub
Yeah.
this.
One day. Yeah, there's like
One
when
day.
we had our whole
Is that
episode on
Modest
that.
Yahoo?
I don't know. I can't remember. We
I'm
had
pretty sure that anyways.
we had that whole episode about it too, like things that haven't been dubbed. Because there's a series that came out last season, the Notebook of Friends. What the hell is it called?
Oh, yeah, Natsume's Book of
Yeah,
Friends.
Natsume's Book
Yeah,
of Friends.
where
It's on season
it
6.
literally out of nowhere got a fucking dub, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
and they
"Let's catch up before season 7
yeah,
comes out."
and they
And they
fucking
did,
they
and they did it!
steamrolled, which is wild to me. But
Ah,
yeah, like there,
yeah, we're there.
I was like, why? Didn't even mute your mic. All right, but yeah,
Nope,
like
we're there.
a lot of my fear, because again, I am the type of person where if I am to watch it in a preferred language, it would be Japanese. Because again, it's like any foreign film that would come over to English, right? Like if we ever translated it versus just read it subtitled, there's gonna be variations. There's gonna be slight differences, and that could detract from the viewing experience, right? So I'm always like, nope, I want what is effectively like the original, right? There are a handful of series that I just prefer dubbed because that's how I'd always watched it, like Cowboy Bebop, Bleach, Fooly Cooly.
Oh, yeah.
Watching it in Japanese would be really weird to me. It'd be very like off-putting, I'd say. But to that end, I am always scared when I fall in love with the series that the English voice acting will become problematic to the point where people will move away from the series as a whole. Again,
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
that's always been my concern because again, as we've established, voice acting is a key piece to an anime and the viewing experience. And if you watch it in preferred dub and it's bad, you're just gonna drop it. We've
No,
kind of
I
established that on a couple of series.
and yeah, and to finish us off, last note here. We were talking earlier this like season, just like, oh, when we did our too early rankings of the season, like, oh, I'm gonna continue watching the show in dub because I think that it's getting a simul dub. It's not a great show, but I still want to see where it goes.
Mhm.
I will say this show is just fine. It's a good show. It's not great. It's very fine. But the dub is actually incredibly great, and that is Zenshu that is coming out this season. I think the
Huh.
dub for that is one of the best I've listened to in a very, very, very long. I
Oh.
think the dub is stupendously great.
Huh.
I think the show as a whole is just fine
Yeah.
because it is at the end of the day another isekai, which is really just like I had hopes for it, and then it just kind of just fell into the normal isekai tropes, and I'm just like, I know where this is. It's like, cool, all right,
Yeah.
I'm good. But like, I will say,
Zenshu.
Zenshu. Yeah, no, I think that the dub for that show is tremendously great. Like, if you're really into the show and you want to you don't want you're purist and you listen to subtitle or you listen to the show and read the subtitles, give the dub a shot because I think that they did a phenomenal job there. And with that, thank you all for joining us this week. If you made it this far, thank you again. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. What that episode will be, who knows? I don't. You don't. Nobody does. Um, we are on all the social medias. If you want to follow us, we are on the Instagrams. We might be getting rid of that soon. We've been saying that for weeks, but who knows? YouTube Shorts, TikTok, etc., etc. So give us a follow on our socials. But again, until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.